Hello and welcome to Nigo Nigo Sensei. So, this is essentially the why are video game, movie, and TV show documentaries useful for studying a foreign language Q&A. Yay! For the sake of simplicity, I'll use examples in Japanese because that's the language I'm studying, but you can use any of these ideas for any other language you might be studying. So the format is essentially going to be what's the benefit of documentaries in my experience, what I've been watching, but more importantly, what I started watching and how my approach has changed, what to search for if you're not entirely sure where to start, how to get around hard-coded subtitles, especially English subtitles when you don't want to watch them in the video that you are viewing, and just kind of the general process and how it's been going. So number one, why use documentaries for studying a language? What's beneficial about them? Well, for me, I love watching people talk about things they love. And so really documentaries are perfect for that. Also interviews, but there are usually interviews within documentaries. So the cool thing about them is that you get an inside look on the process of people making something that you will later consume in a different medium, whether it be a comic book or a book or a TV series or a movie or a video game or whatever. You get to see people in the process of making it, talking about it. The director, the producer, the animators, the writers, the editors, whatever it might be. You get to see all these different conversations about what they are producing, how they're revising it, how they're editing it, how they're fine-tuning it, disagreements and arguments, and how they figure out how to make it better and how to finish it, and the teamwork, or the different personalities and the different degrees of politeness. And especially for Japanese, are they polite, are they casual? There are so many different dynamics to the people who are working on the project and how they interact with each other. And that was the most interesting linguistic challenge or linguistic insight for me. And that's one of the reasons I was so scared of watching them, because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm thinking about all these different ways that people are interacting, and it's like, holy crap, that's going to be hard to understand. And it's like, it's a never-ending well of incredibly interesting conversations about something I'm already interested in. And so, that was, I was sold after that. Okay, so let's go to number two. What have I been watching? Really, it all started with Ghibli, Studio Ghibli. And really, I started off in the wrong direction. I was watching things in English that had Japanese subtitles, and that was nice to a certain extent, because I tend to have a kind of security blanket problem, where if it's something I'm not super familiar with in English, I have a hard time just kind of branching out into something that I know nothing about. I'm still interested in, but I'm not familiar with the progression of it or the language used. And so this has really helped me get away from that. And so I went to YouTube and I just typed in Ghibli making or making of. And I was really surprised at how much stuff came up. And this gets into to not do what I was doing in the beginning. And you want to find things that are natively produced in the language that you're studying. So if you're studying Japanese, Studio Ghibli is a great thing to watch, if regardless of if it's a Ponyo documentary or if it's Spirited Away or whatever movie you want to watch. If they have it on YouTube, that's a great thing to watch. And then, so if you're studying English, well, then Disney or like Pixar would be a great documentaries to watch. And so after Studio Ghibli, I started thinking about other things that I would be interested in watching. Like Akira is pretty much my favorite film of all time. And so I searched Akira, making of Akira documentary on YouTube, and a ton of stuff came up. And so then after that, I started searching for Legend of Zelda stuff. And like when Death Stranding came out, I searched for a bunch of those things, and because those are all made in Japan. So like if you search for like The Last of Us or Uncharted, I believe those are made by American companies, and so might not be as useful. And so just kind of honing in on what's made in the language that you're studying is pretty much all you have to do, and then just go search for it. And so many people have said to me, I don't know what to search for. And it's like, well, you just have to search, and you have to look, and you have to, I can only do so much work for you. You have to do the work of actually watching stuff and figuring out what you like and what you don't like, and, add this to a playlist or add to watch later or whatever. And that's pretty much that. I realize I basically just told how to search for things through telling what I watched, but making the third one slightly redundant. But I'll use that as an opportunity to talk about terms you might want to consider, and also about copyright and how things are taken down frequently. So searching for things frequently and diversifying what you search for is actually an incredibly good thing. So let's go to number 3. So first, let's go into terms, the kind of terms you might use when you're searching for something. So as I talked about before with the Ghibli and Akira and Zelda and all those kinds of things, and again, if you're studying a different language, just go into a dictionary and try to find these kinds of words, and that'll hopefully push you in a direction that you might want to go into. But in Japanese, the word for making, or making of, is making. There's eikonte, which is essentially the storyboards, and you can have a field day with those if you have the interest in searching. And then recording, you can use that recording for anything from the score of films. You can use it for bands recording, singles or albums or songs or whatever. And it really all depends on how much you search, and when you find words, copying and pasting them, and all kinds of different things. It's a really cool process if you invest the time. Okay, so let's shift over to copyright issues. I was gonna make this video about 6 months ago originally, and I didn't for various reasons, but I collected a bunch of links that I thought, oh, these would be cool to share with people. And I looked at them about 2 weeks ago, and majority of them had been claimed for copyright. And so they weren't up anymore. And that, I was so disappointed. I don't get why companies don't just run ads on them and collect the revenue from that instead of pulling them, so that people can watch them and, actually learn from them. But, they do what they do. And so that's sad. Because originally I found a Pompoko documentary, and Pompoko is one of my favorite Ghibli films. And I watched about 5 minutes of it, and I was like, I'm going to watch this later. And then I went and tried to watch it, and it was gone. And I was like, no, give me back my documentary. So I cried for days, but I didn't. And so the main lesson from that is, if you find something you like, watch it as many times as you can while it's up, and be grateful for the chance that you get to see it for free before companies take it down. At least that's how I go about it. And on to number 4. Sometimes there are videos that you might watch that have subtitles that you may not want to see, especially if you're going for more of the listening comprehension. Reading English subtitles are going to do a disservice to you, because you're going to be focusing on the reading and not focusing as much on the listening, which is the thing you should be doing. And so I'll try not to complain about this too much, because I don't like complaining. But if you want to watch something with subtitles and you can't turn them off, there are ways of getting around this. The Japan Code on Twitter recently talked about this, and he was like, oh, I was watching a video and it had subtitles, and I put a folder over the subtitles so I could watch it. And I was like, yes, thank you. Because a friend of mine complained about this. He ended up not watching the video because there were subtitles, and it was just like, oh man. And so he didn't listen to Japanese that day. And who knows how many other times he didn't listen to Japanese or watch something in Japanese because of this problem. And it's like, it pays off in the end to be proactive in finding solutions to problems that are really easy to solve. And so if you're watching it on your computer, open a folder, and just like the Japan Code did, put it over the window so that you don't see the subtitles. If you're watching it on your phone, put your finger over where the subtitles would be. Put a piece of paper over where the subtitles would be. Put a notebook or a book or a pencil or a pen or anything over where the subtitles would be. If you don't watch it because it has subtitles, all you're doing is sabotaging yourself from listening to more Japanese or more whatever language it is. And it's just, it makes me sad. It makes me sad because there's so many ways to get around this. Look up at the top of the screen so that your range of focus makes the subtitles blurry. you just have to sacrifice a little bit, and then you can watch the thing that you want to watch. It's a beautiful thing. Don't sabotage yourself if you don't have to. It might not be a glamorous solution, but at least you'll get exposure to the language that day. So yeah, let's be proactive in finding solutions. And finally, concerning the entire process, how's it been going? Surprisingly well. I've been kind of phasing the documentaries out because I've been going towards a different kind of documentary, and which I'll probably make a video about next month if I have a chance to do it. And it's incredibly exciting. I've been continuously surprised as to... I always think my listening comprehension is terrible. And the more I listen to stuff, the more I'm like, ooh, I actually understood that. Ooh, I understood that too. And it's cool. It's actually really encouraging. And so some of the stuff that I thought was the scariest to watch has actually been some of the most engaging. Yes, of course, some of the hardest stuff I've watched as well, but it's always encouraging to watch things and actually get maybe 20 to 30 to 50 to 60% of it. And if it's real conversations, it's real, dialects, it's real arguments and real discussions. 20 to 50% really isn't bad if it's like real legit conversations and not something that's made for you in a textbook. And so, sometimes it's 80 to 90%, and sometimes it's, 5 to 10%. And you just have to roll with the punches and keep trying. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do as well. And so, yeah, we'll see where it goes. Okay, so hopefully that was moderately interesting. If you enjoyed it, please let me know. If there was something you were inspired to watch, please let me know. If you have been watching something that was spurred from watching this video, please let me know. I'm always excited to see what other people are watching, and especially if I can do something or say something that makes you go, ooh, I want to try that, or watch this, or do that. Please let me know. I want to know if I'm actually contributing to anything. If I'm actually making a difference in the world, man. So yes, I hope all of you are as safe as possible. And the next Japanese read aloud video will be Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, which I'm incredibly excited to put out. I'm almost finished editing that, so that'll be out hopefully within the next few days. If you have a chance to watch it, that'd be fantastic. I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, stay safe, and hopefully we will see you soon. Bye-bye.